Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, where my good friends Jason Dedeker teach me, a born and raised atheist, all about the Bible. I don't have to ask this question anymore because it's happening. Acts is reaching the end today. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Final
Yes.
act of act.
The final act of act. I love that.
Act of Acts. Is that like the King of Kings, but it's the Act
Exactly.
of Acts?
It's act of acts and
that's
Lord
good.
of Lords.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a time. What a time reading Acts. I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I'm always so struck at how when we finish books, I walk away having an entirely different impression of the book than I had going into it based on just my evangelical Christian upbringing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's not always a positive impression of the book,
Yeah.
but it is different. And that's what we're here for, right? Just
For
doing
sure.
things a little differently, seeing things a little differently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very important to see things differently. I mean, I'm just seeing things for the first time, but hearing the differences between what it is that the two of you grew up with versus what it is that we're reading, that's really, really interesting to me. So,
Yeah,
Love that.
I think for me, when I was in Sunday school, the book of Acts always sort of ended like after what was it?
The Epiphany.
Not the Epiphany. Is that the Epiphany? Not the Epiphany.
The
Yeah,
Pentecost.
the Pentecost.
Oh,
the
Pentecost.
the speaking in tongues.
Boy, we're on a great
flames.
start for our quiz today already.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Well, but it's like it's because in Sunday school, of course, they're kind of hopping from most interesting and relatively child-friendly story to the next most interesting and child-friendly story, and I think in Acts for Sunday school ages it was the Pentecost, and then Paul, Peter, something, and then we just like hop straight into Paul's letters, and so actually getting Paul's whole travel itinerary and all the hijinks that he got up to in the meantime.
He went a lot
has
of
been
places.
Fascinating. He did.
Yeah.
But not Asia.
Not Asia Minor.
He definitely did not go to Asia.
No.
He made that so clear
Yeah.
that
We
God
don't go there.
forbid that he would go to Asia for some reason. And by Asia, he really just meant Turkey.
Yes, no, definitely. It's funny because I was trying to cram quickly for this episode, which I don't think that I did a very good job for the quiz. But it was, and I went and I looked up this YouTube video that was basically an animated recap of the entire book of Acts. And I was listening to you all while listening to it, so I really don't know how much actually seeped into my brain. But
So you were like really osmosis style cramming.
It was difficult to do both at once. I don't recommend that. But I will say that they were talking about the fact that Paul went to the, quote, ends of the earth. And that, the ends of the earth are really, they're just, it's not actually that far. It's probably a very like small swath of land that he actually got around to. So whatever.
Yeah. And the reason why Emily was in a panicked state cramming is because since this is the end of a book, that does mean that you got to stick around after we're finished because we are going to do a quiz today, a little quiz. And today we're going to have an actual test proctor, real, genuine professor of Acts. Dr. Jeremy Williams will be joining us after we're done with the reading today. So stick around for that.
Yeah.
Emily's the most scared.
Oh, well, I'm glad that this is a test that we have an Ask the Audience, and we also have...
See?
Yes. But yes, I'm glad that I have the two of you who do a really good job paying attention, and I'm glad that we have our lovely audience because I will be asking them things. John Doff, please be there. Please. Thank you.
Yes, I'm super excited about this. We will be turning the tables, I believe, on Professor Williams as well, where we're going to grill him with all the questions we've had that have come up that we haven't had answers to, assuming we can remember any of them after being so stunned by the quiz that we had to take.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Turntables. What did you two get to drink for this final day?
Yeah.
Final act day.
I decided to think, okay, what would a professor
drink? Okay.
I'm it's the whole drink for the job you want, not for the job you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
drink for the job of the professor and not the job of the podcast host.
Yes.
You got it. You got it. So I made myself a Sazerac. I feel like that's got, it's one of my favorites, but it's also got that kind of old-timey professorial vibe. You could imagine me in a dark office on a big leather chair, with my, leather-topped wooden desk or something like that, smoking a pipe and wearing a sweater with patches on the elbows.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm going for with this drink.
Nice.
I love that. That's beautiful. How about you, Dedeker?
Oh, I don't know what job I'm drinking for because I just grabbed the Elysian Ale, pumpkin ale, out of the fridge. It's really good. It is like a PSL, but a beer.
Fall. Yeah,
we all love that. Yeah.
I call it a PSB, a pumpkin spice beer. It is so pumpkin-y, by the way.
Really?
That particular beer is, for me, too pumpkin-y.
I am surprised, but I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Emily? What's your beautiful drink today?
Yeah, this is called a New York Sour. So it's a take on a whiskey sour, which it has all of the components of a whiskey sour. It's supposed to have bourbon, lemon juice, simple syrup, and egg white, although, of course, I did aquafaba. But the difference is that it has a float, a red wine float.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And then,
that looks beautiful. That's really cool.
Yeah. You can kind of see it on the top there as well. I haven't tried it yet. I have a Malbec on top.
So Emily's more preparing for a physics class because she's doing some cool physics with her drink there.
So you're drinking to be a physics professor today.
Yeah. Nice. Mine is also fall-esque because it still has the simple syrup that I've had, which is the cinnamon apple simple syrup.
Ooh, nice.
Interesting flavors together. This Malbec is very dry. Whoa. So,
wowza.
Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of that right now, but it's good. It's good. It's nice.
Layered drinks like that or drinks with a float on it are always so interesting because they look really cool, but in practice, when you drink them, you're just drinking one drink and then you're drinking another drink.
Well, that's how some people like to do it.
It's cool, but it's not like a real mix. It's not like you've fully mixed those drinks. You're kind of having one using physics, and then having another one using physics.
Sure.
Okay, it's time.
That's the one.
Enough physics talk.
Okay,
enough physics talk. Let's get into the real deal, the real vegan meat of this episode here.
Sweet.
All right, so for that, we are continuing on with the final 2 chapters of the book of Acts. This is Acts chapters 27 and 28, where we'll be picking right where we left off with Paul getting sent to Caesar. As we get started, we want to remind everyone to read responsibly and drink responsibly.
You can drink along with us, or you can listen to us while you're in the car.
But please do not do both at the same time.
And with that, it is Acts chapter 27. When it was determined that we should sail for Italy, they delivered Paul and certain other prisoners to a centurion named Julius of the Augustan band.
What? Oh, cool.
You know that band.
I always like when they switch back into the first person.
Yeah, that is fun. Nice. Yeah. Embarking in a ship of Adramyttium, which was about...
Well, that's a place.
Oh.
I thought that was like it was made of adamantium or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay.
I'm like,
I think it's a place.
What is this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Which was about to sail to places on the coast of Asia, we put to sea. Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, being with us. The next day, we touched at Sidon. Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him permission to go to his friends and refresh himself.
Oh, this is the nicest prison barge ever.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Lovely.
Putting to sea from there, we sailed under the lee of Cyprus because the winds were contrary. When we had sailed across the sea, which is off Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of Lycia. There, the centurion found a ship of Alexandria sailing for Italy, and he put us on board.
Oh.
When we had sailed slowly, many days, and had come with difficulty opposite, oh no, it's two consonants. It's two consonants together. How does it get pronounced? Nidus? I'm going to guess the C is silent.
Really? Nidus? It's a nidus touch?
Nidus? Well, what would you say, Emily?
Snidus?
Snidus?
Snidus. I would have gone with Cnitus.
Oh, really? Well, I don't think that's it. Whatever.
Also,
well, if it comes up again, maybe I'll rotate through all our pronunciations.
Here in the Message Bible, that name is not there at all, actually.
Oh. What does it say?
It just says... it says, we ran into bad weather and found it impossible to stay on course. After much difficulty, we finally made it to the southern coast of the island of Crete and docked at Good Harbor. Appropriate name! In exclamation points inside parentheses.
God, Eugene, you can try a little harder.
Oh, Eugene.
Sometimes he does. And sometimes it's good.
Yes.
But not there.
Sometimes not, yeah.
Okay. So the wind not allowing us further, we sailed under the lee of Crete, opposite Salmone.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's Good Harbor, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yes. With difficulty sailing along it, we came to a certain place called Fair Havens, near the city of Lasea. When much time had passed and the voyage was now dangerous because the fast had now already gone by, Paul admonished them and said to them, Sirs, already drunk? Sirs, I perceive that the voyage will be with injury and much loss, not only of the cargo and the ship, but also of our lives.
Oh.
But the centurion gave more heed to the master and to the owner of the ship than to those things which were spoken by Paul.
Oh, dear.
Because the haven was not suitable to winter in, the majority advised going to sea from there, if by any means they could reach Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix?
Wow, that's a long trip. That's a long
and winter
trip
there. I mean, I think Phoenix would be a good place to winter in, right?
Yeah, there are many snowbirds in Phoenix.
Exactly, yeah.
Quite hot.
Okay. Phoenix to winter there, which is a port of Crete, looking northeast and southeast. When the south wind blew softly, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete close to shore. But before long, a tempestuous wind beat down from shore, which is called Euroclydon. 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 Yes. The wind is called that. Yes. When the ship was caught and couldn't face the wind, we gave way to it and were driven along. Running under the lee of a small island called Clauda, we were able with difficulty to secure the boat. This is like a real master and commander style naval action sequence. Maybe not action, but naval thrills sequence.
Right. I did not expect this. It is like one of those kind of like travel journal things. It's like the first section of that one book that I read recently.
I love that book.
The one they made that movie out of.
I love that movie.
Can I just say, sorry.
The Coen siblings made it.
The Coen brothers? Are you talking about...
that's narrowing it down.
No, you're talking about the one with the three men and George Clooney was one of them?
No.
Oh.
The one that had Tom Hanks in it.
Castaway?
Castaway?
No, that was not a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, but can you imagine the Coen Brothers version of Castaway?
Gosh.
I would see it.
I don't know.
No, sorry. No. I'm thinking of the wrong thing entirely.
That's what I thought.
This was the Wachowskis movie that we watched, Dedeker.
The Matrix?
Chase, you got to give us more.
Wait,
okay, Wachowskis and On the Sea.
On the Sea.
Okay. What else can you tell us?
Lots of.
This better be a really good payoff.
This is so gone already. We're off the boat, as it were. The one with is like we're traveling through time, different stories through time.
Oh yeah, Jupiter is
Cloud Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
Cloud Atlas.
Jupiter Ascending, same thing. Cloud Atlas. Yeah, Cloud Atlas.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. For those of you who've not read the book, Cloud Atlas starts with this type of travel story of like all the different ports we stopped at on a boat. And then the weather was unfair. So we had to travel around to this sort of thing. It's very much in this same vibe.
This was not in the study guide that I watched. at all.
Okay.
They glossed over this entire thing. They're like, and he went to this place. He got there. Cool.
After, I also want to see the Coen brothers version of Cloud Atlas.
That would be really good.
After,
very different
after
movie.
they had hoisted it up, they used cables to help reinforce the ship. Fearing that they would run aground on the Syrtis sandbars, they lowered the sea anchor and so were driven along.
It's a lot of details about stuff we don't understand.
No, I love it. As we labored exceedingly with the storm, the next day they began to throw things overboard.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, why? Because there was a big old hole in the hole? A hole in the hole?
I think if
you have a hole in the hull, you don't throw things overboard unless it's water.
Overboard.
You throw yourself overboard.
No, it's that when your hull is more full, your ship sits lower on the water. And so if it's like a lot of water getting over, you're going to want it to go higher. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
On the third day, they threw out the ship's tackle with their own hands.
Whoa.
When neither sun nor stars shone on us for many days, and no small tempest pressed on us, all hope that we would be saved was now taken away.
Oh, dear.
And at that
sad,
thrilling turning point in the story, I'm going to hand it over to Jace.
Oh, wow. What a good point to hand that off. Well done. Yes. Okay. Picking up here, Acts chapter 27, verse 21. I was just trying to look up, though, about this throwing off the tackle. So Eugene in the Message Bible says throwing off all the tackle and provisions.
Okay, so just everything we got.
It means like we're going to die out here if we don't get rescued, right?
Wait,
so that's
why the provisions, isn't that your rations and stuff? Your water and your vegan meat?
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh.
So the question is, how's Paul going to respond to this?
Oh, yeah, okay. I also just want to point out
save us.
That tackle, my understanding is that in the UK and Australia, tackle is a euphemism for your junk.
Right.
Also.
Right. The bait and tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think of tackle in a horse way because I grew up with horses.
Yeah.
So it's tackle. It's the stuff that you put on a horse to ride them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Verse 21. When they had been long without food, Paul stood up in the middle of them and said, "Sirs, you should have listened to me and not set sail from Crete and have gotten this injury and loss. Now I exhort you to cheer up, for there will be no loss of life among you, but only of the ship. For there stood by me this night an angel belonging to the God whose I am and whom I serve, saying, 'Don't be afraid, Paul. You must stand before Caesar. Behold, God has granted you all those who sail with you.'"
So the angel's like, "No, you got to make your court date. You're going to get through this."
Yeah, I think that's the deal. So he's like, so if I'm at court, I don't die here. It's like when you start a movie with a flash forward and you know like the character can't die before they get to that point in the movie.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. Unless they were a ghost all along.
Like in The Sixth Sense?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. "Therefore, sirs, cheer up, for I believe God that it will be just as it has been spoken to me."
Great.
I like that the one guy who actually owns the ship is like, cool.
Yeah.
Great. That's the only thing we'll lose. "But we must run aground on a certain island."
What? Weird. Which one? Oh, I think I know.
What's your guess?
Well, our lovely editor
Oh.
was talking about this. I think it's Malta.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
My Maltese liqueur is behind me.
Let's see if they get any Maltese liqueur to get them to warm them up after this chilly time.
Maltese Falcon.
The Maltese Falcon.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, love that.
So he says we must run aground on a certain island. End quote. So he doesn't reveal what. He kind of leaves him on a cliffhanger. "But when the 14th night had come, as we were driven back and forth in the Adriatic Sea, about midnight, the sailors surmised that they were drawing near to some land. They took soundings and found 20 fathoms. And we have a little note here that equals about 120 feet or 36.6 meters.
Okay.
So of depth. After a little while, they took soundings again and found 15 fathoms, getting shallower. Fearing that we would run aground on rocky ground, they let go 4 anchors from the stern and wished for daylight. Been there. Just, can it be daylight now?
Can it be day?
As the sailors were trying to flee out of the ship and had lowered the boat into the sea, pretending that they would lay out anchors from the bow. Oh, I see. The sailors are trying to bail. So they've lowered the rowboat.
They're bouncing. Okay.
Pretending that they would lay anchors out from the bow. Paul said to the centurion and to the soldiers, unless these stay on the ship, you can't be saved.
Whoa.
Unless those guys are on the ship, you won't be saved. It's sort of all or nothing deal here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the boat and let it fall off.
So they were like, don't care.
Yeah, don't. Or did they cut it off before the soldiers could get into it?
Does Eugene clarify at all?
Yeah, let's see what Eugene says. This is verse 31 here. Let's see. Some of the sailors tried to jump ship. They let down the lifeboat, pretending they were going to set out more anchors from the bow. Paul saw through their guise and told the centurion and his soldiers, if these sailors don't stay with the ship, we're all going down. So the soldiers cut the lines to the lifeboat and let it drift off. So I guess they hadn't gotten in it yet. Yeah.
Oh, as in before they
could
get into the lifeboat.
Okay.
It's interesting to me, honestly, that the centurion and the soldiers believed Paul's vision, right? I mean, they don't have any reason to necessarily believe his prophecies or anything like that.
Right.
They have been nice, yeah.
Yeah, but we've established they've been a little chummy, you know.
I mean, it seems like Paul is kind of a good guy, maybe, or, well, maybe not. Your face, you're like, no.
Maybe he's a compelling guy.
Yeah, I would say that.
Oh, he
that
does, for
he
sure.
gets out of situations well.
That is a recurring theme, yeah.
But I gotta say, a lot of these guys do that over the many years.
Getting out of scrapes.
That's
that
true.
we've read
That's
this
true.
book.
Getting out of scrapes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys are really good at that. And maybe that is the through line. To be a leader in the Bible, you have to be really good at getting out of a rock and a hard place.
So also, I'm realizing that they were sent to Caesar by that king, whatever his name was.
Felix?
No, not Felix.
Felix? Porcius Festus?
So it was
Porcus
Felix
Festus?
was the governor.
What?
And then Porcus Festus was the governor after him.
What?
And he's the one who brought the king Antilles and I thought it started
Antilles. Wedge Antilles? It's a Star Wars
so
character.
King Wedge Antilles
I'm
came.
done.
And he was the one, remember when Paul was like, you believe it, I know you do, King. And he's like, oh shit, you're going to make a Christian out of me.
Oh, that was the one that we cast Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
That was Agrippa.
Agrippa. See, it started with an
Yes,
A.
King Agrippa.
Yes, King Agrippa.
We all got there together. This is why this is a collaborative test.
Yes, yes. And so he's the one who was like, oh, we could free this guy now if he hadn't asked to go to Caesar. But so maybe he recruited this centurion and soldiers who were also kind of on board with Christianity. Maybe that's the...
Right, he's like, be chill, be nice to this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the soldiers cut away the ropes of the boat and let it fall off. While the day was coming on, Paul begged them all to take some food, saying, this day is the 14th day that you wait and continue fasting, having taken nothing. Yikes, 14 days.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Therefore, I beg you to take some food, and this is for your safety, for not a hair will perish from any of your heads. When he said this and had taken bread, he gave thanks to God in the presence of all, and he broke it and began to eat. Then they all cheered up and also took food.
That was the problem. You're just like, you're
Too
hangry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In all, we were 276 souls on the ship.
Dang.
It's a lot more people than I realized.
That's a big ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they did say this was a cargo ship that they just happened to hitch a ride on. So that makes sense. Okay.
Did they have a ticket to ride?
Well, Paul certainly did.
Yeah. Paul had a golden ticket.
Yes.
For prisoners.
In all, we were 276 souls on the ship. When they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship, throwing out the wheat into the sea.
What?
Cool. They're really getting rid of everything.
That's not very heavy. It's wheat.
You don't know how much wheat it was.
Maybe it's like a bale of hay or something.
Oh, boy. Yes.
Like a single wheat is not going to make a difference.
I don't think they had just a single wheat stock.
Here's one wheat.
And that made the difference. Yep. When it was day, they didn't recognize the land, but they noticed a certain bay with a beach, and they decided to try to drive the ship into it.
I thought that they were worried about that.
Well, now that they can see there's not rocks, that's what they were worried about before.
Okay.
Casting off the anchors, they left them in the sea, at the same time untying the rudder ropes. Whatever that does.
The rudder ropes.
The rudder ropes, yeah.
But the rudder's the back, right? The back spinny.
The flippy bit.
Oh, the
steery
flippy.
bit.
We don't have a spinny yet at this age, time in history.
I guess
You're not a motorboat.
We're just flippy.
Okay, the flippy floppies.
Yep, the flippy floppy. Yes. Casting off the anchors, at the same time untying the rudder ropes. Hoisting up the foresail, or foresail? That seems like how a sailor would say that. They shorten everything. Hoisting up the foresail to the wind.
We should have gotten a sailor. I didn't even know.
We needed a professor of sailing.
Should have got a professor of sailing.
Yeah. They made for the beach. But coming to a place where two seas met, they ran the vessel aground. Idiots. The bow struck and remained immovable, but the stern began to break up by the violence of the waves.
Whoa.
The soldiers' counsel was to kill the prisoners so that none of them could swim out and escape.
Gosh.
And the centurion's like, dude, I let this guy go visit his friends. Like, he's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But the centurion, desiring to save Paul, stopped them from their purpose and commanded that those who could swim should throw themselves overboard first to go toward the land, and the rest should follow, some on planks and some on other things from the ship.
They need floaties. They need floaties.
They need floaties, yeah.
What do you think an ancient floaty could possibly be? An empty barrel?
Yeah,
that's what you always see.
Barrel of wheat would be good.
No, you got to dump out the wheat.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the barrel has to
of air.
float.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need something that floats. I don't know what else.
Okay.
Yeah, like a crate, some sort of wooden thing. A plank is
If there's
good.
any livestock, a sheep, a
little floaty sheep, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this livestock is alive and you are just kind of riding it out.
I think that's the idea.
Well, I'm not imagining you're sitting on it, but you're, Jack will never let go.
You're kind of like grasping it. You're grasping it.
You're holding onto it like some driftwood.
Yeah, and it's like...
Yeah, that sound the sheep make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we finish this chapter?
Okay. So it happened that they all escaped safely to the land. The end. I mean, the end of this chapter.
Oh, wow.
They escaped. Good job. They did
saga that was. I never learned about this.
No, not at all. It was like a whole separate story unto itself.
The drum line that is a sheep.
Oh, God.
Yep.
It's been a long week, y'all.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I think that's time for a break.
Yeah, that is a good time for us to take a little break.
Yeah.
We would like to remind all of you to go bratata at your friends and let them know that this show is fun. Try to convince them that the Bible is fun. And listening to three goofos read it is also fun. And then bring them around. Come check out the live shows. If you go to drunkbiblestudy.com/live, you can check out our live shows. And you can also follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/drunkbiblestudy. We would love for you to come hang out with us, join in the live jokes. You get to see all the stuff that doesn't even make it into the edit, all of the horrible goofs and gaffes. And of course, you get to be here live for the quiz, like the one we're going to have at the end of this episode. Whereas if you're listening to this later on, you will have to wait a little while for that episode to come out. So please come join us for that. Also, if you would like to become a parishioner of this show, you can go to patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. And there, For the merest offering of $6 a month, you can become a parishioner and get early access to episodes of the show, a personal toast on the show, Emily's drink recipes, and of course, most importantly, our undying love and affection and all of the bratatats we could ever offer to you.
Oh no, Emily's not back.
Uh-oh. Yes, I am.
There she is. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right, Emily.
Oh,
you ready?
Okay. Yes, here we go. All right, everyone. 28. This is it. When we had escaped, then they learned that the island was called Malta.
There it is. Emily got it right.
That's where our editor's from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So cool.
Yeah. Also, in the Tyndale Bible, it's Meleti is how it says Malta.
Oh,
Meleti.
cute.
Meleti.
I don't know where that is. The natives showed us uncommon kindness. Okay, the natives. For they kindled a fire and received us all because of the present rain and because of the cold.
That's nice.
But when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Like
viper.
out of the
goes.
fire.
No, I think
Into
it was
the hand.
summoned by the heat.
It said out
By
of
the
the
warmth.
heat.
Out of the heat.
Came out because of the heat.
Maybe it
Which
was
did it
directly
say?
below the heat, and then the heat happened, and it was like...
Like they accidentally
Okay, I
built
see.
a fire on a snake pit.
I
And it
guess.
was like, hey, that's my house.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't
maybe
know.
he was like, ooh, fire, I love it. Oh, a hand, I love that even more.
Delicious.
When the natives saw the creature hanging from his hand, they said to one another, no doubt this man is a murderer, whom, though he has escaped from the sea, yet justice is not allowed to live. Whoa.
That's really interesting. That's the first thing they reach for. It's not like, whoa, bad luck, that sucks. It's like, well, you probably
murder.
deserved it.
Yeah, geez.
I wonder if like snake bites are a particular superstition or something that they had. where it's
Maybe.
like, oh,
that,
yeah.
like only
The
murderers
Maltese.
get bitten by snakes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or that it came so directly for him. It kind of came out of nowhere and was like, that guy.
That guy. We got to bite him. However, he shook off the creature into the fire and wasn't harmed. But they expected...
Sorry.
It was fine. I don't even know why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
He
It's like,
was
no
fine.
big deal. What?
Yeah, exactly. But they expected that he would have swollen or fallen down dead suddenly. But when they watched for a long time and saw nothing bad happen to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god.
So how fickle those Maltese falcons are.
Dang.
Yeah. Boy,
Okay.
I love that there's the two extremes. It's like a snake bit you, you're a murderer, you deserve it. Oh, you didn't
not
die?
dead?
You're a god.
Oh, you're a god.
You're literally a god. It's not like, oh, the snake realized you were innocent. It's just,
one or
you're
the
a
other.
god. Yep.
Now, in the neighborhood of that place where lands belonging to the chief man of the island named Publius?
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 Oh, Publius. Like the public? Like Publius? Like
Publius.
is this a Greek name?
I don't.
It's a Maltese name.
I feel like you love the Greeks, Jess.
It's
Always
just Publius
the
doesn't-
Greeks.
You have
They're
this
here.
weird pro-Greek bias.
Yeah, like
Sure.
pro-Greek cognitive bias. Okay.
Maybe that's your secret heritage.
Oh.
No, I'm
We've
secretly
always wondered,
Greek.
Like,
Yeah.
what is
like why
Jace?
Jace has this olive skin. I know it's like hard to see on the video, but you
Yeah.
like your DNA results suggested you have some sort of Mediterranean heritage.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
There are some family theories that our family heritage of being Swedish and the last name Lindgren might have all been a fabrication and that we were actually from somewhere else and that some ancestor was like, I'd rather not be from that place.
Sure. No, it makes sense.
That's
Cool.
this is mostly my brother's conspiracy theory about our family.
Interesting.
But he's got some decent points that he makes in
Well,
arguing.
but I thought your DNA did have like Norwegian, Swedish, Netherlands kind of.
It's got some of that.
Nordic.
Yeah. It's some
Yeah.
well, some kind of vaguely in there, but it seems like more like a little bit Eastern European and Mediterranean. is kinda
Maybe
what came up.
some Romani in there. Like
That's what
stigmatized, right? Like something.
Well, I mean, my mom's side of the family is actually potentially Romani. They're from what was Czechoslovakia,
Sure,
which was kind
okay.
of a hotbed for that, like in the Kingdom of Bohemia, which it was back then. So maybe
So you're a Bohemian.
I'm so Bohemian, yes.
Yeah.
How do we get on this?
Malta, Publius.
Greek. Okay, you think everything is Greek. Yes.
I think everything's Greek. It's just the name Publius. Publius doesn't sound to me like anything but a Greek name.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, in the neighborhood of that place were lands belonging to the chief man of the island named Publius, who received us and courteously entertained us for 3 days. It happened that the father of Publius lay sick of fever and of dysentery.
Oh, no.
Paul entered into him.
Oh, man.
Prayed.
Oh, dear.
And laying his hands on him, healed him. Well, that's nice of him.
That's nice.
Then when this was done, the rest also who had diseases in the island came and were cured. They also honored us with many honors. And when we sailed, they put on board the things that we needed.
So replace the wheat, the single wheat stock, and the sheep, the little sheep.
Yeah. After 3 months, we set sail in a ship of Alexandria, which had wintered in the island, whose sign was the Twin Brothers. I don't know what that is.
It's an interesting name for a sheep. Or it's not for a sheep. It is an interesting name for a sheep. An interesting name for a ship.
The Twin Brothers. Yeah, when it's only a single ship, it's weird that it's called the Twin Brothers. Unless it has some twin rudders.
What if they called it like Gemini?
Oh,
you wouldn't think that's so weird, right?
Yeah. Touching.
Can I just hit you with some facts that I just looked up to try to justify myself here? So I looked up the meaning of Publius, the name, specifically like in the historical Greek. So I was wrong that it's not
Greek.
Wait, what did I say it was?
You said you think all things are Greek.
I think all things are Greek. Yes, I was wrong. That in Greek it's Publios instead of Publius, which is fun. But that apparently Publius was a popular Roman praenomen, which is like a Tom, Dick, or Harry. It's kind of like a generic name, like kind of a nothing name. Right. And this article here, which is from abariumpublications.com, says it seems rather odd that the author of this story doesn't submit more personal data of Paul's host. That is, unless, of course, Publius of Malta and his troubled father is a literary character designed to covertly refer to like a movement or a people or something else. But the name Publius means of the public.
Okay.
So I think it might have been just like they gave him a random name.
So it's like we're almost teasing something a little bit metaphorical or allegorical.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there have been lots of other Publiuses in Roman history.
Okay. Lots of other, like, in what exactly?
Oh, just like historically, there have been a bunch of people who had this kind of like first name of Publius.
Yeah.
And by first name, I mean first of usually several names, like Publius Servilis Casca Longus, who was one of the liberators of Rome, I guess, at some point in the past. Anyway, It's like a fun name you can stick on the beginning.
All right, here's 12. Touching at Syracuse, we stayed there 3 days. From there, we circled around and arrived at Rhegium. After 1 day, a south wind sprang up, and on the second day, we came to Puteoli, where we found brothers. And we're...
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that means like Christian, fellow Christians.
It says brothers here, and where context allows, may also be correctly translated brothers and sisters or siblings. So I don't know if it, I don't know if it's brothers in Christ.
I think when we saw this earlier,
it's just brothers.
In Acts, they meant other Christians.
Oh, okay.
There was another point where we saw that and we were like, is that what it means? And it did.
Okay, well, my brother in Christ.
Maybe this is the same. Yeah.
And we're entreated to stay with them for 7 days. So we came to Rome. From there, the brothers, when they heard of us, came to meet us as far as the market of Appius and the 3 taverns. When Paul...
I hope one of those taverns is the Archipelago Sandwich Pub.
It better be. Oh, that'd be so good.
When Paul saw them, he thanked God and took courage. When we entered into Rome, the centurion delivered the prisoners to the captain of the guard, but Paul was allowed to stay by himself with the soldier who guarded him, who he secretly is in love with? Maybe? They like have a little bit of a thing?
Maybe
they're just like really good friends.
We don't know.
That's fine too.
Yeah, they could be pals.
Yeah.
It happened that after 3 days, Paul called together those who were the leaders of the Jews. When they had come together, he said to them, I, brothers, though I had done nothing against the people or the customs of our fathers, still was delivered prisoner from Jerusalem into the hands of the Romans, who, when they examined me, desired to set me free because there was no cause of death in me. But when the Jews spoke against it, I was constrained to appeal to Caesar. Not that I had anything about which to accuse my nation. For this cause, therefore, I asked to see you and speak with you. For because of the hope of Israel, I am bound with this chain.
Okay, can I hit you with Eugene's version of that? Because I think it paints with more colors of the wind. He said, okay, so Paul called the Jewish leaders together for a meeting at his house, because wherever they had put him. He said to them, the Jews in Jerusalem arrested me on trumped-up charges, and I was taken into custody by the Romans. I assure you that I did absolutely nothing against Jewish laws or Jewish customs. After the Romans investigated the charges and found there was nothing to them, they wanted to set me free, but the Jews objected so fiercely that I was forced to appeal to Caesar. I did this not to accuse them of any wrongdoing or to get our people in trouble with Rome. We've had enough trouble through the years that way. I did it for Israel. I asked you to come and listen to me today to make it clear that I'm on Israel's side, not against her. I'm a hostage here for hope, not doom.
Cool.
Okay, that's cool. A hostage for hope.
A hostage for hope.
A hostage for hope. I just like that it gives a little more color to why he would have called this meeting. It's like, once again, Paul kind of wanting to ingratiate himself to whoever he thinks might be significant in that area. And so he's come here where these guys don't know anything about what's going on. And so he's kind of like, I just want to make sure I'm right with you guys, that we're cool, right?
We're so
and you can kind of back me up here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
21. They said to him, we neither received letters from Judea concerning you, nor did any of the brothers come here and report or speak any evil of you. But we desire to hear from you what you think. For as concerning this sect, it is known to us that everywhere it is spoken against.
Okay, yeah. Eugene says, the only thing we know about this Christian sect is that nobody seems to have anything good to say about it.
Interesting.
Okay, all right, I get it. So they're like, sure, dude, no one warned us about you, but...
So in Eugene's telling of this, they are calling them Christians, Christian sect. That's interesting.
The sect, they're called Christians, yeah.
And that's not really like here in what we're reading, but maybe it's implied.
Yeah, I'm looking at other translations, and I'm not seeing the word Christian dropped here in like the New International or the King James or the Complete Jewish Bible. So yeah, actually, this is a good example of a question that we could ask Professor Williams to be like, hey, what's the deal with Christian?
What's the deal?
When did we start saying
deal
that?
With Christian?
Okay, I'm just going to write that down. I've already written down some questions.
Okay.
So
did you write down what's the deal with Christian?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, good.
Along with what's the deal with Snidus and what's the deal with sailing. So
that's the best we got? Good. Okay. I want to know what's the deal with Paul and why people don't like him, meaning the two of you.
Oh, well, I think we'll get to that too.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay.
We did tell him that we want to talk about Paul's letters, which we're going to read after this. So hopefully he can help us.
Prime us.
Get some understanding of Paul. Yeah.
When they had appointed him a day, many people came to him at his lodging. He explained to them, testifying about the kingdom of God and persuading them concerning Jesus, both from the law of Moses and from the prophets, from morning until evening. Some believed the things which were spoken, and some disbelieved. When they didn't agree among themselves, they departed after Paul had spoken one word. The Holy Spirit spoke, this is not a single word.
Can I just tell you an amazing word that Eugene used here?
What?
He said, when the unbelievers got cantankerous and started bickering with each other.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, Paul interrupted.
He's got his thesaurus next to him.
Yep. Now, this big monologue you're going to read is Paul's rebuttal to the unbelievers getting cantankerous here.
The Holy Spirit spoke rightly through Isaiah the prophet to our fathers, saying, "Go to this people and say, in hearing you will hear, but will in no way understand. In seeing you will see, but it will in no way perceive. For this people's heart has grown callous. Their ears are dull of hearing, their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and would turn again, and I would heal them. Be it known therefore to you that the salvation of God is sent to the Gentiles. They will also listen." When he had said these words, the Jews departed, having a great dispute among themselves.
Yeah, wow. I got to say just real quick that Eugene's translation of that quote from Isaiah was actually harder to understand than what you read from the World English Bible. So that is fun.
Just leave that alone.
He made his a little more poetic, I think, or at least tried to, but I think it actually made it more confusing than what you said.
Paul stayed 2 whole years in his own rented house. What? And received all who were coming to him, preaching the kingdom of God and teaching the things concerning the Lord Jesus Christ with all boldness, without hindrance.
Boy, rent goes back a long time, huh?
Wait, he was... Wait. Is he out of jail? He's just in a rented house?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think the centurions kind of let him.
I'm sorry,
softly let him go.
But did he ever have his trial with Caesar? I thought we were leading up to that. I've been waiting this whole time for this.
But
it's like, no, I'm just going to settle here.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought that he was writing his letters from jail, and that he was in jail after this until like he died. Oh. And this is like he gets to rent a house and like chill and write.
In Malta.
In Malta. Well, no, I think he's in Italy now. I think they left Malta.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, Malta? Paul, that you have to live in Italy. Wow. Oh, that sucks for you.
Yeah, they came to Rome. So they're in Rome now.
Wow.
That's where all this took place.
The worst place ever.
Oh, so maybe he is around to be able to get to his court date with Caesar.
I know, but I thought that would happen.
You know how it is.
Acts.
The courts get backed up.
Definitely for the rest of his freaking life.
Waiting 2 years for a court date makes total sense. I get
total
it.
sense.
Total sense.
Yes.
But ending your book here and not showing us that court date, I'm like, did we lose those pages?
Maybe Luke died. Maybe Luke was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm good.
He died before he could finish the book, and we just published this.
They're like, well, that's good. Okay, that was anticlimactic. A little bit?
Yeah, I'm honestly really disappointed by the ending. Overall, I've really liked how action-packed Acts has been and how many different directions it's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm really disappointed by this ending.
I'm not as disappointed because all that maritime action
that
really got my blood pumping. And then he got to have like a nice, quiet life, just renting a little house.
I mean, it's kind of nice
in Italy and healing people. I think it's kind of nice for him. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still not cool with it. This is going to be my question for Professor Williams is...
What's your question?
WTF the ending, I guess.
Okay.
That's
great. I'll write that one down.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. In listening to that quick little study guide, they were talking so much about the fact that like, wow, this religion is unlike anything that anybody had ever seen before. And I was like, it is? Really? And what does that mean exactly?
I mean, that's another good question for a
You could argue that case.
Right?
You could also argue against it. But Well, we should wrap things up so that we can prepare our hearts and minds and bodies for
always. I mean,
time.
Yes, do some stretches. Some calisthenics.
Limber up.
We're going to do more drunk Bible study the rest of this year. I don't know if we're going to finish another book by the end of this year.
Good question. Yeah, let me check on that actually. Yeah, we will probably finish Romans before the end of the year.
Okay. Then I won't say this.
But then Corinthians will take us through into January.
I'm very aware of the fact that like there's a finite amount of this show left. And the turn of the year.
That has been weighing
the
on
turn
me
of the
too.
year is happening.
We got to make it count.
To making it count. Indeed.
Make it count.
As always.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to making
salute.
it count. I like
Love
that. I like that as a cheers.
Yeah.
Bong, bong,
All right, everyone.
bong.
Thank you for joining us for Bible study today. If you want to join the audience in our live stream show, follow us on Twitch at Drunk Bible Study or go to drunkbiblestudy.com/live. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including early releases, cocktail recipes, personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and write us a nice review on iTunes, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group or on our Discord server at discord.drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Jace Lindgren, Dedeker Winston, and me, Emily Matlack. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from the album Home of the. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.